Uy, bakit naman hindi? Ako nga, interesado.
All the young people I meet in our country really
Grabe pala, parang taga-etibak pala.
I'm a dog lover as well as a...
hurting the genuity of those dogs.
Magandang hapon mga ka-Biyaya. Nandito po tayo with our good friend, founder of PAWssion, si Malou Perez, the one and only. We're very happy to have Malou with us because I think we have similar hearts. Big, deep hearts. So anyway, Malou, please tell us, introduce yourself to us.
Hello, of course, thank you first. Thank you so much for having me. I am super honored to be here. So my name is Malou. I'm the founder of PAWssion Project. So I started PAWssion almost 5 years ago, out of the blue, because I saw a Facebook post about 50 dogs at the Bacolod City Pound, and they were not even for euthanasia, but they were for gunshot. And growing up, I have always been a dog lover, but I was never aware about the realities and pounds. I was never even aware that we had a pound. So when I saw the post, without any second thoughts, of course I shared it, just like any other regular dog lover. I think lahat naman nakaka-relate. Pag nakakakita sila ng mga ganun, they share. And then, I think a day after, our family friend, Manang Jen, saw the post as well, and then she called me kasi dapat mag-Airbnb business kami dun sa farm where the first shelter was built. Because before I started PAWssion, I was really all into self-love, and then I love traveling, going to the beach, and then so she thought about doing an Airbnb business, a farm, and then so since we didn't have any concrete plans yet, when she saw the post, she asked me if I was willing to take in the dogs. I don't know what happened, but I just said yes to it without any experience on how to run a shelter. I only had one experience of a rescue, and it was no hard work at all. It was just a stray who showed up outside our gate, and then we took the stray in. So I said yes to it, and to cut the long story short, we were able to rescue those dogs. That was my first pound experience. It was traumatic. Almost 5 years now, and I could still feel like the horror in the pound. I was standing next to the hole where they were supposed to be buried, and it was just so traumatic. There was one dog who almost died kasi nagsistrangle na siya dun sa ginagamit ng mga taga-pound. So I thought to myself, after that first rescue operation, like, what difference will this make? Because by God's grace, that rescue operation went viral, but just like any other na mga ganyan, meron always din na pang-counter. I received so many messages from other people also telling me, ay, sa pound namin ganito din. Like, there are also 30 dogs, 100 dogs on the pound here. So I said, this should not end here. So that was when I thought, that was the first week. That was when I thought, like, I have to put up an organization. I need to make an effort to let people know what's going on. Kasi nga, I have been a dog lover, but I never knew about this. Parang there was not enough effort to put the realities out there. So that was my main motivation. I just wanted more people who were like me to at least step up, maybe even start their own organization, their shelter, or rescue on their own as well. So that was the main motivation of starting PAWssion Project. So fast forward to almost 5 years now, we already have 2 shelters. Again, it was nothing planned. Everything happened so spontaneously as well. Kasi for me, my kryptonite talaga is the pound. Whenever I go to the pound, minsan kahit sabihin lang namin magdadala lang kami ng dog food or we're just gonna go and see it, I cannot leave without doing anything about it. Maybe you rescue some or you put the word out so people will do something about it. So that was how we got the second shelter in Bulacan. We have rescued over 2,000 already. We've rehomed more than 1,000 because it was during the first month of PAWssion when I realized na rescuing is not the answer. Parang it's just a way for people to understand what's going on. I've always believed rescuing is so important, but it's not the solution. It has always been spaying and neutering. And again, before I started PAWssion, I was not even aware about Kupon. So parang imagine, I know there's so many people in the Philippines as well who are also passionate animal lovers but hindi aware sa realidad ng strays, hindi alam kung ano yung kapon. So yun talaga yung motivation ko to just be super active in social media. So we've rehomed over 1,000, but we still continuously we're still continuously at home to more than 600, and it's so difficult. And you get numerous reports every day non-stop, and I tell everyone that there's more than 10 million strays in the Philippines. It's so draining in all aspects, but I've always believed na I think this is my calling. Kasi if it's not for you, you're gonna give up. I mean, if it's not by God's grace, hindi mo kakayanin talaga. As in, baka maging suicidal ka pa nga dahil sa dami ng, all the emotional trauma. So I've always felt like I guess this is for me. I hope.
I think so. But, the census that I received was 15 million.
Now.
And it will always be exponential.
Despite all the efforts.
Yes.
Kapon, no?
But, the efforts are just recent. Right? The big efforts.
Yeah.
But when you started, there was not a big push.
Yeah.
And I think the universe kind of conspires. And things come together, and you laid that impetus. And it went viral, and I think it's a great thing. But I also believe things happen when they're meant to.
Yeah.
And God has His timing. If you don't want to use the word God, the universe has its timing. And when you're ready, because like you said, kung hindi mo kakayanin, paano na?
And if it's not for you.
Yes, diba? So, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I understand how you feel where without thinking of anything, you agreed. Right? And I think if you did calculate,
I never started.
and you would have never started. If you analyzed and calculated and did your study,
I would have never started.
No.
At all.
No. Because you would have gotten frightened.
And overwhelmed.
Yeah. Mauuna yung overwhelm and yung fear.
Yeah.
Fear will always step up first. So better that you went in that way. You jumped.
Yeah.
You whether there was a net or not.
Just let's go.
Let's go. So this happened in Bacolod first.
Yes.
And you're from there.
Yeah, because that's really where I'm from. It's a small city, but the struggle is real because we don't even get support from the government. Like, it's still a frustration up until now. I think there are over 100,000 strays in Bacolod, and honestly, that is so doable if you want to spay and neuter all of the strays there. But again, you need like a team effort, community effort. Even if we do spay and neuter all of the strays there, if they still continue to impound, if people continuously become cruel to animals, you're gonna be drained kasi hindi lang naman yung iniisip mo din all the rescues under your care. You still think about all of the strays that you feed. So yeah, it started in Bacolod, and
How did you get to Bulacan?
I was here in Manila. That was just a few months after I started the Bacolod shelter. I went here in Manila to process the registration, sec registration, everything of PAWssion, and you already kind of had a following there. And then when people saw that I was in Manila, I got a report about Muntinlupa Pound. So I went to the pound kasi sabi nila sinusunog daw ng buhay yung mga aso doon. So I just went to see it for myself. I saw a burning furnace when I arrived there. It was the first time na I was crying inside the city vet. Kasi alam mo yung frustration mo, like pinaglalaban ko sila na I said, we wanted to help the dogs there. Konti lang naman yung parang mga 40 plus dogs lang. So we wanted to find a way to rescue them. But they had an ordinance na if you're not from Muntinlupa, hindi ka pwede mag-rescue. So I was crying na out of frustration. These dogs came from here, from irresponsible people from here, and you expect people to adopt these dogs as well? So I was so frustrated na sabi ko, I'm from Bacolod. I came all the way here to get help from them, and then you would deprive them to be rescued. So I was crying there kasi sobrang frustrated ko. But to cut a long story short, we got help from people in Muntinlupa na sige sila nalang mag-sign up. And then they will turn over the rescues to us. We didn't have a shelter yet, so there was another shelter who's gonna take them. Parang facilitate lang kami. We had some of the rescues adopted, some went to a shelter, and then so that went viral, and that's why I'm so grateful. I always tell people who have the influence, even just your effort to share a post, it can really make a difference. So it went viral, and then after that, I got a report about 100 plus dogs at the Bulacan Pound. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go again and see for myself, like, kung ano pwede natin gawin.
That's a booby trap.
Yeah, I said, okay, I'm just gonna share about it kasi baka the same will happen. At least mahanapan natin kasi wala pa akong shelter nun. And then when I went there, again, it's a trap again. But I said, I cannot go on with my life without having to do anything about it. So, Ita Calzado shared on her personal Facebook page, because she was already a follower of PAWssion then. She posted kung meron anyone from Bulacan, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, na meron land that we can use as a temporary space for the rescue. So that was how we found the land for the shelter now. We are still just renting it, and we actually have to find land already. I mean, you know, if you start a shelter, you would always want your own. Pero it's overwhelming. I mean, the prices of land is so high, and you would always have to prioritize the needs of the rescues anyway. So we were okay with renting it. So that's how the Bulacan shelter started. So that's why kryptonite ko talaga pounds. Like, you know, all of
That's why I
PAWssion
don't go.
yeah, it's
I don't go.
gonna haunt
I
you.
don't. I cannot.
Yeah, it's gonna haunt you.
So I'd rather find this. Sometimes though I do go.
Yeah.
We do have some. Baguio City Pound. I help out
Which
a
is
lot.
okay.
Yeah. It's just not idyllic, but what is?
Yeah.
You know, you can go down the road not too far from here and you'll see dogs chained to a post, right?
Outside,
yeah,
yeah.
outside. So it's
or even in nice houses.
yeah,
and they're
exactly.
Just in cages.
Yeah, you know,
it's
so
like a pound too.
it's a pound. It's a pound, just a
Yeah.
little bit better address, but it's
Yeah,
better address, but it's still a
exactly.
pound. But yeah, so pounds are really hard because
Prison cells for animals who
Well,
don't even deserve to be there.
yeah, there's a sensory overload. The sight, the sounds,
Yeah, they're crying.
the smell. It just engulfs you.
And so many pounds in the Philippines, just so everyone is aware, so many pounds in the Philippines don't even have funding. So many
Yes.
mayors are even unaware that they have a pound. We tried so hard before. Like, I went to a number of LGUs just so, you know, their pounds could get help. Because honestly, so many city vets, no offense, also don't make extra effort to let their LGU know that their pound needs help, that they have a lot of animals there, that they don't have money for food. So, yeah, I think,
You know, this is why I'm bringing all of this up. So we can reach out. And
Yeah.
it's not just for rescuers or animal.
everyone.
It's for everyone, including the LGU, to understand. And many LGUs do, but some, for whatever reason, valid or not, do not. Right? But to understand that the connection between an animal suffering and human suffering is real.
yeah,
And even if we can't see it,
yeah.
there is a effect,
Yeah.
a cause and effect.
And animal welfare has always been human welfare.
Always.
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 Ever since.
Yeah.
The development, for example, of the breeds of the dog were because the dog helped man.
Exactly.
The development of man is highly tied to the development of the dog to hunt, to keep varmint off the soil that they're
Yeah.
tilling, for guard, for companionship, for herding. So all of
But
these,
people can be so selfish.
ay,
That's why we
definitely.
already have like breeds na are not okay.
Yes, definitely. Designer,
Exactly.
right? And I think some of the dog clubs are really putting their foot down to that. But unfortunately, people still like, I don't know, the faces to be flatter, or I don't get it. But anyway, it is what it is.
Without understanding the effect, like especially health-wise.
Yes,
to the
health-wise,
animals.
definitely. So, in fact, it's very interesting because once you start caring, first you have to be observant. And then you start caring, then you become more observant, and then you start thinking, you know. But I always think that maybe in terms of many people, they're just too busy with their everyday lives that it's too much to look at the cat or the dog, even if it's their own. I mean, I just recently posted a cat that was full of maggots.
Yeah, I
And-
saw that.
It didn't make it last night. It crossed over. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand and to accept,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you might be able to understand, but to accept
It's harder.
is much,
Yeah.
much harder, which
Yeah.
is, I'm grateful that you didn't accept, right? That you decided to do what you do and what you continue to do. And it's a lot similar to myself.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to meet a kindred
Exactly.
spirit because
Exactly.
sometimes you can feel so alone.
Yeah.
So tell me, how many are you in your PAWssion project that your support team?
Okay, so this is also something a lot of people don't know. Like, they think we're such a big team. Honestly, on the ground, it's me. It's me. So I'm the only one managing Instagram. I have a few volunteers, probably 5-6 people helping me out with Facebook inbox. I really couldn't handle the Facebook inbox anymore. So I'm so grateful that we have volunteers helping me out with the inbox. But on the ground, it's me. I am so thankful that I have such a supportive family. So whenever I'm not in Bacolod and I'm here, they're the ones running all the errands for me. My dad, he's the one who buys all the supplies, oversees the shelter. I live at the shelter already. And we have we have less than 20 caretakers for more than 600 animals. We have one part-time vet for the Bulacan shelter who goes to the shelter twice a week, half day. We don't have in Bacolod, so all of the rescues are sent to the private clinic.
Oh, you gotta have a vet. Oh my
Yes.
God,
And it's so hard.
I would die.
And it's so hard.
I would die.
Yeah, it's so hard. And then, so it was during the pandemic. So for me, the pandemic really is such a blessing. I was such a control freak when I started PAWssion Project because, I don't know, I think I've always been such a control freak. But it was the pandemic that really kind of opened my mind that I need to have more people helping me. But again, it's so hard to trust people. So that was why I was kind of cautious with that. So during the pandemic, I made a post looking for volunteers who could help on the back end, because there's a lot of work that we do, and that's what people don't see. Of course they only see like all of the beautiful transformations, but like, the work required to transform and rehabilitate one animal is a lot of work. And we also have a sponsorship program. Like, we rely heavily on the sponsorship program because, again, we don't really have steady donors. We don't even post every day asking for donations because I know how tiring it is, like, in the eyes of the people who support
Neither
you.
do we.
Yeah, and exactly. So we launched a sponsorship program where people can support the rescue for 1,000 pesos per month. But what people don't know is that it's just me taking the photos and updates of these rescues, so it's kind of hard to keep up as well. So we are not a big team. We're just a small team of volunteers. One of my core volunteers is based in Germany, and this is her way really of, because she misses the Philippines all the time. So this is her way also of, just getting that connection still with the Philippines. But we're very, very few. There may be a total of at least 50 volunteers, but only during events. We have a team of volunteers that are working, our students.
Well, it's very hard to
It's
rely.
hard.
That's why
It's
I
hard.
decided to hire.
Exactly.
And even if I hire,
It's still hard.
it's still hard
It's still
because
hard.
you have to be in this for a long time
And
to
you have
understand.
to have the heart.
Yes.
Honestly, you have to have the heart. Even if you pay someone
It
so
doesn't
much,
work.
if they don't have the heart,
That's what I said. Akala mo clock in, clock out lang. Kung ganon, wag na lang.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wag na lang. Kung wala kang, it's not sympathy, it's not compassion, it's something else. There must be another word. But,
It's really a way of life, honestly.
Yeah, so it's really, really hard. Wow.
Yeah, so
I saw your
that's what-
post that, hey, she's looking for a
for
shelter.
caretakers and a shelter manager so I can work on the admin tasks.
Yeah, no, I understand because we also have a somebody who answers messages, and we have some other people come in. But because of the hospital and because of the thing, we have a lot of messages. So
yeah. But other than the messages before, it was only my number there on social media. I would get calls 12 midnight, 3 a.m.
Same. That's why I had to remove my number in the beginning because, to get the globe, to get the... So, I think I average about 200 messages a day. Yeah. I'm sure the other platforms...
Yes, not
much
including
more,
the other platforms.
Yeah, and it's like what you say.
90+% calls for help.
Yes.
Only a very small percentage of donations, of people wanting help.
Donations, we don't get much at all. But anyway, because they see, she can afford it. Why should we give her money? When they don't realize that it is
no matter how rich you are,
ubus.
Sa kapon pa lang, kukulangin na yung funds mo.
Ubus. Right? And let's go back to that topic of getting a message at 12:30 at night. And the reporter is in the scene. The scene is maybe 20-minute drive from you. And you're dead tired from the day. And they expect you to do something about it. But they are the ones there.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Because I'm sure you've received a lot.
Yeah, we pray. We pray, honestly, because...
I can't sleep.
Yes.
Can you sleep?
Can't,
so I just go.
Exactly.
In the end, I go and I come home at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Even if you already have a lot on your plate already. So... we've posted about it several times because we want to empower people to do something. Minsan, I'd be on the phone for more than an hour para lang ma-explain ko. So, minsan feeling ko outlet ko na din yun pag kinakausap mo sila because of your frustration. But, we get that a lot. Sometimes I would take time first. I mean, depende kung gaano siya ka-emergency. If hindi naman siya gaano ka-emergency, I would take time to talk to them and make them understand na they have the power to do something as well. You get lucky sometimes. When they realize na, kaya naman pala. I understand some are just scared. Some really just have zero knowledge on how to do it.
But
So
they see something.
We instruct them over the phone.
Correct.
Like if you have a towel, just get it or put them on the side. Or if it's raining, at least payungan mo lang while wala pang help. Baka meron dyan sa area mo. Kasi sayang din the resources eh. And I mean, syempre pagod na pagod ka din. So, we try as much as possible to empower people to do their part. But if walang-wala talaga, and if it's an emergency, you find yourself there the next minute.
Yes.
Getting that, kahit iniisip mo na, oh my gosh, wala na tayong pera. I mean, we still have so many under our care. But
wala nang pera or I remember...
Wala nang space, saan mo dadalhin din to, especially in Bacolod. I mean, it's just recently that we had a 24-hour clinic. So imagine before, I would bring the rescue home and then just be there till morning. So make sure the animal is alive para madala mo siya sa vet. And that's what people don't see. Parang when you get the animal, they think, oh, thank you.
That's it, pusit.
Yeah, parang gusto ko po maintindihan nyo, pag namatay ako ngayon, hundreds na animals po yung may iwan ko din. So parang, of course, in the beginning, it was hard for me to say no. Parang for me, it's always, let's just go. But in the long run, you realize na you also have to take care of yourself because you have a lot also who rely on you. But again, mahirap. Mahirap especially if nakita mo yung picture na. Minsan mas madali sa akin pag over the phone lang na kaya mong i-shut off and sabihin na sila na lang yung gumawa something about it. But it's so hard if you see the picture, if you see the video, parang yung guilt mo, parang kinakain ka ng guilt mo. So, we always try to remind everyone na you see that animal, you carry that guilt with you and do something about it. Kasi hindi to siya namin responsibilidad. If we're able to help, then thank you. But please don't put the burden on us and huwag niyo kaming pag-guiltin because we already have more than enough on our plate. And if we exhaust ourselves, something happens to us, paano naman po yung under sa amin? I mean, honestly, I don't even have a plan yet. I mean, if something happens to me,
how can you have a plan? You're on
don't even have a
hand to mouth at the moment, it seems.
Time. Yeah. So it's always just one day at a time for me. Pero human as we are, hindi mo naman kakayanan i-control self mo. You don't overthink or you don't think about tomorrow. But yeah, I want people to know that we are just humans and we get overwhelmed every day.
No,
Every day.
and Malou, there's this thing that happens often. You get the animal, and the animal dies with you.
Oh my God.
Often.
Often.
And it's almost as if they're just looking for
They
a
just
safe. Yes.
They just leave.
Yes, and then you think, yeah, we
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah.
And then they just go. And then sometimes they stay with you 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Some would stay for an hour.
an hour.
An hour.
Or you just
Few
put them in the
minutes.
carrier.
And they die.
And they die. And it's like they're ready to let go. And in the beginning, it's like, with the doctors, did you do everything right? If the animal what happened here? What da 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 da? And then I've come to realize that they just want to die safely.
Exactly.
And they want to be buried.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Buried or cremated. Because when it's an infectious thing, I cremate.
Cremate.
And this is where I say what we do is it's a
Hard.
path. It's a
hard.
path. It's a seekership. You can call it spiritual, right? But it builds something in you that I don't know. Is it faith? Is it blind trust? Is it stupidity?
You don't even have the word to
No,
describe it.
but it can make you very strong, but it can also make you very vulnerable, very weak
And very
inside, broken. There are days that I say, I don't know.
If kaya pa.
I don't know how to glue myself
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
You put a really brave face
Yeah,
on.
all
And
the
special,
time.
you see me, the usual, mestiza yan,
Yeah.
masungit, whatever. But I'm dying. I'm
Yeah,
cracked in
yeah.
every
angle, every
You
aspect.
can't put me back together
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
and
Scarred for life.
scarred for
Yeah.
life, and you carry, and like you said, there are certain images, like what you
Yeah.
said with the Bacolod pound.
Forever
It's
in my head.
it's like tattooed.
Yeah.
And in fact, last night I was, Tito, I just like that.
Out of
I
the
was,
blue.
it was, I fell asleep for 15 minutes or something, and I was like, and he was like, what's happening? What's happening? And he goes, no. There's a dog. And he was like, Rina, it's okay. And it was so
It's just in your head.
real. It was so no, there's a dog. I have to go. He said, Rina, you've been asleep. You fell asleep
Yeah.
on the couch.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I got this white flower. Rina, wake up, Rina. And it was like, and I
It
was
felt so real.
and my
Yeah.
heart was like thumping, and I was like, God, this is like the
We get
post-traumatic
so haunted.
PTSD.
Exactly.
Right? And I
Yeah.
was like, I said, no, Stitch, it was real. I could smell the blood. I could smell the urine.
You could hear the cry.
And he was like, no, and this is what we go
This
through.
is real. Yeah.
It's very real.
Yeah.
And
we don't even have the time to seek help to
No.
address these problems because we just have enough on our plate.
I mean, that's why I cut my hair. I don't have time to wash it. The other day, I told Tito, I'm going to cut my hair. He was like, why? I said, I don't think I've washed it in a week. I was like, that's gross. I said, no, it's not that. Because
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
at night, I come home and I stick myself in the tub. And my hair is not easy. It's not
Yeah.
nice and straight like
Yeah.
yours. It's not easy. So if I wash it, I have to like comb it. And it takes
Extra
a long to
effort.
dry.
Yeah.
And it's like, so normally I just stick myself in the tub, put lavender, and I'm like sitting there just trying to, I don't know what,
Yeah.
process? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
trying
so.
to absorb things.
Things and,
Yeah.
and you don't know.
But you don't really get to do that.
No.
You
Because,
don't get to that point that you
No.
absorb things.
no, because you're hit with something else.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
hit with something else. And do you find that you can't be happy? I'm afraid to be happy because like within the next few hours I have bad news
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, although we try to
Yeah. Like you cannot just be in that state.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I think, okay, we got 2 adoptions. We got, you're really
You
happy.
celebrate every
Everything.
little win.
Yeah, and then in the afternoon, oh God, oh no, kind of
Meron
thing.
na naman. Yeah.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, I think this is. Then you process it and you say that this is our life now.
Yeah, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. I super appreciated like one of our core volunteers. There was one time na sobrang daming nangyayari talaga sa amin. And then she talked to the other volunteers na we should be grateful. We can give up anytime we want. She can't.
Yeah.
She cannot turn her back. I mean, no matter
No
what
more.
happens.
Wala.
There's just no turning
Dead
back.
meat ka na. You cannot na.
Exactly. So I super appreciated like the core volunteers because it was also them who kind of reminded me na you have to take care of yourself. So like for 4 years, I had 0 vacations. I would fall asleep on the floor. Like I still keep a regular job. So it's just so hard to manage everything. People don't understand that. Like they think that's just what you do. And it also was just recently when one of my friends told me na, you know, what you do is so admirable, but you have to understand like your passion is not your whole life. That's just one area of your life. That's just one aspect of your life. And recently I went on a quick break and it was so hard. In the beginning I was happy. And then eventually I felt so low. I felt so sad. I was like, I'm on vacation. Why am I feeling this way? Well, number one, because I felt like I was losing control over everything. Number two, I think because I never ever found the time to stay put and stay still. So dun lang talaga na lahat ng mga emotions, lahat, dun lang lahat. And then, I was feeling guilty. Honestly, every time I would take a break, I would feel guilty about doing so when in fact we should not because we're already doing more than enough like any average people would do. But I would feel guilty when I would take a break. And then that was really what I realized na we have to think of ourselves too because again, this passion of ours, even if it takes like 100% of our time and our life, that's just one aspect. And imagine if we fall apart.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to all of them? But it took me years to get to that point.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, all these years, all I was thinking was them. Because it's not easy. I mean, no matter how much you want to take a break, no matter how much you want to get 8 hours of sleep, you can't.
Or turn off your phone.
Or for me, it's such a luxury. Parang minsan gusto ko lang pumunta ng bukid na walang signal para hindi ako mag-guilty. Bakit di ako makareply? But what people don't know, it's such a luxury for us. Honestly, I don't wanna be spending my time posting every day. But we have to because, of course, we want people to know what's going on. We want people to see what we're doing. But we're exhausted. Having to think of a caption alone is so draining. Like managing social media is already a full-time job.
Correct.
And it's not even just what we're doing. So, it's draining in so many aspects. And going back to what you told me about, you know, having to rescue an animal and then they die, it also took me a while, years also, to come to peace with myself na, you know, so many of them, all they want is a chance. Parang kahit di sila mabuhay.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just sometimes 1 or 2 good meals.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and
Or a name. Sa amin, every time we rescue, give a name right away. Mamatay man yan ngayon, at least namatay siya may pangalan. So even if it's so hard, parang minsan nagbibigay kami ng mga theme na lang kasi walang ka na ng names kung anong pwede ibigay sa kanila. So for us, it's so important. Once you rescue an animal, give that animal a name. Say that name to that animal kasi mamatay man siya ngayon at least.
Me, I cannot say a name, but usually I make a name from where we
Yeah,
rescue.
the same.
Just so that I can remember,
The
right?
same. Either where we rescued it, minsan, pangalan ng reporter, parang based there.
Yeah.
But since we do mass rescue operations and pounds, may mga theme. So may this theme, kasi nawawalan ka na talaga ng name.
Yeah,
so we
of
give
course.
themes. So you remember, this need batch to siya. So, but imagine, even just having to think of a name, like it consumes a lot of brain cells.
well, that's what I was thinking. You know, that's why somebody says, "Do you only have 2 or 3 T-shirts?" I was like, "No, I have more. It's just that I have
Exactly.
many of the same because
Exactly.
I don't have the juju in my brain to
see,
decide
exactly.
what T-shirt to wear today. I just pull whatever's
Yeah.
on the top
Yeah.
and put it on. And
And I'm super grateful for that. Ever since I started PAWssion, also, I have more than 10 shirts. And I'm so grateful because it saves time. You don't have to think anymore what to wear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And before, of
Absolutely.
course, like human as we are, we're also cautious about how we look. But now, minsan, nakakalimutan ko na, ang dungis-dungis ko pala, punta ka ng mall, mag-grocery.
Oh my God.
Ang baho mo na pala, parang hindi mo na realize na,
You-
may
you
ibang tao din pala dito.
You should have seen me when I went to visit Chief of Police of Alfonso. I forgot that I went inside the kennel and there were paws, all mud, all over me. And I was just
Yeah,
talking to him
yeah.
and he was like,
Yeah.
lokaret yata.
Because
to
that's our
eh."
everyday life. That's our everyday life. Parang minsan nakakalimutan mo na, ay, may outside world pala.
Oh, it was like today somebody said, oh, what was that? What? Supernatural. I have a friend who wants to bring a dog to Biyaya to look for his supernatural thing. Akala ko naman boxing. So when I looked at it, it's like pala what's it? Pageant. It's a pageant for males.
Okay.
Okay, right? And I was like, oh, sorry. I had to look that up. Ha ha ha. Because I'm in such a small world
Yeah,
that I have
exactly.
no idea.
Yeah.
And when they tell me, oh, si ganito is the influencer of this or that, I was like,
Sino
but
yan?
who's that? Who's that? Because, I come from Gabi Concepcion and Shara Coneta time, So it's like,
Malay mo na talaga ano nangyayari sa mundo.
no idea,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think I got up to Richard Gomez. And-
After that, wala na.
Wala na.
Wala na.
So it was like, yung mga crush.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So, yeah, we live in a
In
really...
a different world.
in a different world. We don't have weekends.
Yeah. No holidays.
No holidays.
Minsan my friends, oh, where do you wanna go? It's holiday pala. Anong araw na ba ngayon?
Yeah, exactly. I'm exactly the same way. Or one of our suppliers said, Rina, I mean, do you have 28 hours in one day? I said, like, what do you mean 28 hours?
We have 50 plus hours.
hours in a day, right? Somehow he goes, how do you pack it all in? I was like, I
We
never...
don't know.
We don't know.
That's what I always say. I don't know.
I don't know.
honestly.
Or when somebody asks me, somebody I can be honest with, ask me, how are you? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I put one foot in front of the
Or
other.
there are days you can honestly say, I'm just tired.
Yeah, I'm tired, and it's like tired that needs peace. Not
I
just
don't even
not
have the
just
energy
sleep.
to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
parang ganon.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, But anyway, that's our life, Malou. So, Malou, tell me, you have 600 plus animals. You have about 20
Staff.
core staff and volunteers. What do you want to do? What do you still want to do?
I honestly have really big dreams, not just for PAWssion, but for animal welfare in general. I mean, we started this not just to gain popularity. We started this not just so we could have a shelter. We started this because we want to make a difference in animal welfare in the whole country. And that's why even if it's so hard, even if we feel like we're already doing 50 plus hours a day, whenever you get the opportunity to talk about animal welfare, you go for it. Even if you don't have the energy anymore. Whenever you get the chance to sit down with like any person from the LG, you go for it. Because again, collaboration is key. And honestly, it's just so hard. It's so hard. Like, with the different NGOs and animal welfare in the Philippines is already hard because there's also politics.
A lot of politics, a lot of egos.
A lot of ego. When I started PAWssion, I was so naive.
Oh.
I reached out to every possible group because I thought that was the way to go. And I got so traumatized na parang, ganito pala to? Bakit may mga ego issues? But ayaw ng iba makipag-work with you. So, I was so naive in the beginning. And then it just got to the point na, okay, we'll work with whoever wants to work with us. If ayaw nyo, then okay. But I was so frustrated na parang sabi ko, we are all fighting for the same cause. Why don't we work together? My dream before was to have an alliance of the different animal welfare groups because I said, no one can do it all.
No.
Baka pwede yung isa will prioritize on mga legal stuff. The other group can prioritize on spay and neuter. The other group can prioritize on educating people. The other group can prioritize on this. While of course, kasi it's so important, it's so hard to just do one thing. I mean, we all know that. Kahit naman alam mo gusto mo magkapon lang, you still do everything. But iba sana, if merong
No,
mga
definitely.
nagsa-specialize. But it's so hard again because not everyone wants to work together. Number one, because of ego. And I really hope and pray na sana matapos na yan. I honestly have my own ill feelings sa mga ibang groups as well. But if they will reach out to us and if they want to work with us, we're gonna do it because that's the only way to go. So, we have big dreams for animal welfare. But we are really focused on educating everyone and targeting the emotions of people. I want people to be out there. As I mentioned earlier, we want to empower an average person and you can do something about it. Parang, I'm a marketing graduate. I have had zero knowledge on vet med. I learn everything through the day-to-day process and I have 2 shelters. Why can't you do something about like that cat in front of you? I mean, if you don't know what to do, bring it to the vet. Think about everything else after na if you really wanna save a life. So gusto ko talagang mapaintindi sa mga tao na you carry that guilt with you and do something about it. So, for me, yung lagi kong sinasabi sa mga tao, like, put compassion into action. It's not enough maawa ka lang. Wala naman social media yung mga animals eh. Kahit share, post mo picture na lang kung wala kang gagawin.
Up.
Oo,
Up.
walang mangyayari.
Up.
So, cringe. It's so cringy. So, that is our goal. But, of course, I have a lot of moments when I think na, well, probably the other 3 just have no knowledge. So, that's why we are making a lot of efforts on educating people. Minsan parang gusto mo na magmura, gusto mo na magalit. Pero it also goes back to me that day when I saw the post na I was once like that. I didn't know we had pounds. I had no idea about spay and neuter. So, extend mo naman yung patience mo, paintindihin mo. We get a lot of people messaging us na we want to surrender our dog kasi lipat na sila ng bahay, nawalan sila ng trabaho. Ako ginigil trip ko talaga sila. Kinakausap ko, may anak po ba kayo? Pag nawalan kayo ng trabaho, give up niyo po ba yung anak niyo? Yung magulang niyo, pag nagkasakit yan, pag tumanda sila, give up niyo po ba? So I have some people who would cry on the phone and would realize that and they will exhaust everything. It's just hard though when you get people na ipapagilty ka na sige po, kung ayaw niyong kunin, iwan na lang namin sa daan. So ikaw na naman ulit magkicarry ng guilt.
Or when I was making the distinction to someone between surrender and rescue.
Yeah.
You wanna surrender your dog, this is how much it's gonna cost.
They don't even want to take responsibility.
No, you
for
know what the
that.
answer is? Pera lang pala kayo. Like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you wanna really
Yeah.
cuss and curse
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
say, do you have any idea
Yeah.
what we go through
Yeah.
on an everyday
Yeah.
basis?
Yeah.
We get bitten, stitched up,
Exactly.
etc. I'm on my 9th or 10th round of rabies. I mean,
When people tell me na takot po kasi kaming makagat, sinasabi ko, so okay lang po na kami.
yeah.
Akala niyo po ba kami hindi kinakagat? Kinakagat din naman po kami.
Correct.
Or they would give up their dog to us because aggressive na daw. So okay lang po sa inyo na magkagulo sa shelter. Hindi po kami dog trainer. So you send your dog to a dog trainer or bring the dog to a clinic, pakapon mo siya. Kung hindi mo pa na-exhaust lahat ng efforts, then don't come to us and pagilty mo kami na hindi naman i-accommodate kasi we have hundreds already under our care. So when I have the energy, then I would educate them.
Yeah, that's if you have the energy.
If we have the energy. But if you don't have, sometimes, iniisip mo na lang din yung animal. So even if you don't have the resources anymore, even if di mo na alam kung anong gagawin, you end up taking in the
No,
animal.
like many times, I just go and rescue
Yeah.
the dog without
Yeah.
telling them. Because the next problem will be, they demand updates. They
Yun pa.
demand
Yun pa.
this and that. And if
Yun
the
pa.
dog dies on you,
Kasalanan mo.
God forbid,
Yeah.
God bless you because
Yeah.
you are going to be
The worst
crucified.
person. Exactly. Yeah. In-explain din namin ng dami gusto magpa-boarding. We are not a boarding facility. Or meron dyan na, can you accommodate the dog? We'll sponsor 1,000 pesos per month. Honestly, the tests alone.
Yes. Well, they don't understand that you can't just take anything
Exactly. We have protocols.
Correct.
Especially because you have zero knowledge on the history. So you run all tests possible. Kahit sinasabi ko nga, honestly, the rescues are bringing in more money to vet clinics compared to like pets because regular check-up lang naman yan sila. But rescues, lahat ng tests. Minsan, kukwestiyonin ka pa ng mga tao, why would you spend? Rescue lang naman yan. You have to rescue responsibly.
Correct.
It's more than just picking up a dog or a cat from the street or the pound. You need to know ano yung sakit niya para alam mo anong gagawin mo next. And you're
or
not able
if you
to
can
do
even
that.
take it in or put it in isolation.
Exactly. Kasi
or-
ang daming mga viruses that you have to consider and they don't know that. So parang, that's also what I explain to people na having a shelter is more than just putting a fence or a roof over their heads. It's discovering all the different viruses. You can just imagine ideally how many isolation areas you're supposed to have considering all the viruses, but you have to think also, do you have the resources to do that? So if you don't have, then of course that's why you say no, and that's why fosterers are so important.
Correct.
Because shelters just can't take all of these animals in because it will compromise the health of the other rescues. But they don't understand that. Again, like you said, they're gonna crucify you. And they think na, akala ba shelter kayo? Akala ba SEC-registered org kayo? Parang, just because we're a SEC-registered group doesn't give us the responsibility to take in all of the animals.
Well, this is the thing where I think education is really
Exactly.
important. Because this I keep trying to tell everybody, at the end of the day, the reason why there are strays is because of irresponsible pet owners, right? Who just, they do their business outside, or somehow you can see in cities, at a certain
Yeah.
hour of the day, the dogs are roaming,
Yeah.
and they go
They go
back,
back.
right? And so it's like, well, why do you think there's so many unwanted pregnancies? Or the worst is, in our case, already, the dog is pregnant. Kaya mo bang yung mga litters? Yung isang tuta ibibigay ko sa biyanan ko. Okay, isa lang ba yung tuta niyan?
Yeah.
No, hindi eh. Anong gagawin? Bahala
Hindi
na.
ba yun nabubuntis pag nabuntis sa biyanan mo?
Or
Yeah.
Katoliko ako.
Mhm.
I don't, and it's like, and making the animal suffer, isn't that also a form of sin?
And it's really animal cruelty.
Yeah, isn't it a form of
Yeah.
sin?
Even just the fact that you are unable to provide for
Yeah.
them. The reason why I'm saying this is, while I appreciate that there are a lot of animal advocates and shelters already everywhere,
Yes, much more than before.
but there are also so many rescuers and shelters that are irresponsible. Hindi kasi pwede dito na puro heart lang. If you take in an animal and umaabot sa point na wala ka na talagang ipapakain sa kanila, that's a form of animal cruelty. And I am saying this in a place of grace because I've been through all that. We've had days na parang inisip mo, may kakain pa ba sila? But thank God, there was never a day that our rescues really went hungry. But that's what people don't know. We work so hard so that we could provide for them. There are also rescuers who are unable to let go of some animals kahit meron ng gustong mag-adopt. That's fine if you can provide for them. I totally can relate. I have a lot of attachment with a lot of rescues na hindi ko kayang i-let go. But we make sure that we're able to provide a good life for them. They're free roaming, they're loved. But if you cannot provide for them anymore, if you don't have enough time to spend with them, if you cannot even bring them to the vet when they're sick, you have to let go. There are people who are willing to take them in. God sees your heart. God has seen everything you've done for the animal, but you wouldn't want that animal to die in vain. Or you wouldn't want your other rescues na pinaghirapan mo na yung rehabilitation na tas may mga araw na wala silang makain. So, I understand everyone's heart. But in this advocacy, it can't be all heart. Like, you have...
But what do you think the attachment is? Because I also have that. Like the cats here in this room,
Yeah.
right? These all come from one corner, not far from here, right? They're all relatives. I caught them all myself, by myself, 23 of them, right? So And the rescue mission was not an easy one.
For sure, especially with cats.
23 yon. And nakipag-away pa ako sa tanod. Buti na lang I could say
That's
a few
what people
things.
don't know too.
Yeah.
Ang dami na natin nakakaaway.
Yeah, okay. And then so they're in here and they're up for adoption, and I, Mom, can
You have a
we
hard time.
can we si Blue, can we adopt out Blue? And it's like inside me it's like no,
Yeah,
but it's like inside me it's like, oh, he'll have his own humans, right? So I'll say, okay, but I'm not gonna be around.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna.
Same.
I won't be here.
Yeah.
You talk to them, you screen them, you vet them, whatever, and then one day I'll come and he's just not here anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's also another thing people don't understand. Na parang, of course, they celebrate every time we're home rescues, but they don't know, like, a part of us really is just so broken. Every time we have adoption drives, I would take live videos, but people don't know I'm crying in the back. Like,
Yeah.
happy gotcha day, you have
Yeah.
your own family now, but I'm crying in the back. Because we get so attached to them and we treat all of them like our own. So,
Yes.
like, honestly, we have our NFAs. We call them NFAs. They're not for adoption kasi talagang hindi na sila namin kayang i-let go. But we make sure that we're able to provide a good life for them. And I have a number of NFAs na dumarating yung araw na nakakapag-let go ako. Basta alam kong better life siya. If it's not a better life at the shelter, if wala silang garden, mga ganun, ayaw kong ipa-adopt.
yeah, well, you know that's interesting because I think the right human comes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the vibe or the right
You
human.
know,
You know
and you
right away.
wouldn't wanna deprive them
Yes.
of a better life. So for us, criteria namin, basta better life, let's let go. But if
Yeah.
hindi, though dogs especially, I'm honestly a dog person more than a cat person before I started PAWssion, but it was the stray feeding really that, yun talaga, doon ko naintindihan yung cats because of stray feeding. That's why very important din for us ang stray feeding. But with dogs, they really are vocal. Like, pinapakita nila if they're attached to you.
Yes,
So,
yes.
meron akong mga rescues talaga, hindi ko kaya to i-let go. Parang, my gosh, naawa ko sa kanila na biglang mag-adjust na naman sila, may bago na naman silang human. So, it's hard also. Sometimes we get attacked as well, na parang they go to the shelter. So many of our rescues are very sociable. And so many of them are the NFAs. So people would go there and they would want to adopt them and then magagalit sila. Hindi naman pala to for adoption. Minsan parang gusto mo magalit. Bakit ikaw ba yung bumuhay sa kanila? Ikaw ba?
Yeah.
Ano mo yun? But you cannot do that. And you just explain to them, well, they are ambassadors.
I'll use that line. They're ambassadors.
That's how
you got that, ha?
That's how people understand their advocacy because they feel the love these animals bring. If tanggalin mo to sila lahat and puro aloof yung makikita nila sa shelter, how will they appreciate this advocacy?
Ang galing! I learned something today. Ambassadors.
That's what we tell them. So we have ambassadors and ambassadors.
Ambassadors.
These are the
ambassadors.
NFAs, not for adoption. But it's nice also because people come to understand where we're coming from. Like, I would always tell them na I was the one who picked up this dog from the street. It was dying. I was there every step of the way, rehabilitated the dog, saw the fur grow back, saw the personality come out. That's why I find it so hard to let them go.
Well, and then the personality comes out after a while pa.
Yeah.
And then it becomes very endearing. So when you get them and you're like, okay, I gotta figure out this guy, right? And then eventually, it's almost as if he's given permission to be who he is.
Yes.
And he discovers who he is. Because out there,
And it's beautiful.
yes, out there, they're just defensive.
Yes. And that's why we also reiterate to everyone, there are no aggressive dogs. None at all. They're just defensive. I mean, they've been through a lot. So, hindi naman nila alam kung mabait ka or hindi. So, natural nila na instinct, to become like that. But we've rescued so many quote-unquote aggressive dogs who bloom to be the most grateful, the sweetest
Yes.
dogs. So, with the right amount of love, care, the perfect environment. I cannot emphasize enough how important the environment is. The vibe. These animals, they react to your energy, to your vibe, and I also want to point this out na that's why it's so hard when you run a shelter because you don't just manage the animals.
No.
You have to have the right people as well. Even
Correct.
yung energy ng mga tao mo could affect the animals if hindi sila nagkakaintindihan. Nagkakasakit din yung mga animals. So,
Correct. Or
no,
nag-aaway.
it's such a big spectrum na hindi nga naiintindihan ng mga tao if you're not really on the ground, if you don't really, take part in the day-to-day operation. So, it's very complex. It's very, very complex. But I always tell everyone na they're always worth it. Like, walang presyo. Yung
Yeah.
naibibigay nila na saya sa'yo and the sense of purpose. I've never felt this ever in my entire life. And while I have a lot of days na question ko din, tama ba itong ginawa ko? Parang pagod na pagod na ako. Bakit ko ba ginagawa ito sa sarili ko? You always end up thinking about every animal you've saved. You always think about, I check on the Instagram pages of the rescues that we have, and then you see them living a good life, and then you think to yourself, sometimes you really have to tell that to yourself, you did that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not pride or anything, but sometimes we need that too. Like, we're just human ourselves, and that's why I am always so grateful whenever I get messages from random people. Or like when people feel, when they see my post na I'm tired, I always appreciate people who go out of their way to send me a message and send me a picture of the dog or a cat they've adopted from us and tell me, it's living its best life now.
Yeah.
That's because you rescued them. So, it matters.
It does.
It really
well,
matters.
that's our income.
Exactly.
That's our income, right?
Yeah.
All of that.
Yes.
And that's our petrol in our gas tank kind of thing. I don't know sometimes, and I'm sure you feel this, where your next wind is gonna come from. Right? And it builds up some sort of faith muscles. Right? But sometimes it's just like, darn it, why? Why? So you have high faith moments and they're really low.
Super
really.
low.
And
Na
the
parang
low,
ubos ka na.
the low ones are a little more frequent.
Frequent. Yeah.
Especially when you add the number of animals every
Yeah.
time. And it's like, I have done more U-turns on a highway. Like a long highway, like
Buti hindi ka pa
NLEX.
nahuhuli.
Right? Just to be able, and it's like, darn it,
Yeah.
It's so hard. I haven't posted because I don't post a lot.
A lot.
I really
Yeah.
don't about the rescues because already I feel like the life is so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I made the mistake of buying Starbucks on the last exit, on the last like Starbucks, McDonald's kind of thing on NLEX coming this way. That's a big one, right? Oh my God. So 4 dogs.
4.
Para ke. Right? So 4
Not even
dogs.
just 1, but 4.
Yeah, 4. So, okay, for the next week, we're going back to catch the darn 4. And we don't know. We talk to the guards. It's like a Mission Impossible kind of thing, And we eventually catch the dogs, right? And they're not the easiest things to handle in the beginning. And you're waiting, and it's hard.
Yeah. And
It's
it's so
hard.
time-consuming.
It's so time-consuming.
Yeah.
Especially NLEX. That's a really long
Yeah.
thing for a U-turn.
Yeah.
Some of the exits are really like super long. Only, it's like, I remember somewhere near, what's that thing called? That arena? Okay. So I'm driving to Baguio, Philippine Arena. I'm driving to Baguio and I see a dog on the other side. Okay.
Ikot.
Ikot, go back. The dog isn't there.
It's
like
not anymore.
Isn't there. You're like, okay, ikot ulit. Didn't get the dog. But then that dog doesn't leave your mind because it's like, how is it in the middle of where there are no houses? That's all walls.
How did you get
there? So you keep going back.
Yeah.
I mean, like the next day, or you tell the team, go, ganito,
Baka lang
ganon.
makita
Mama,
niya.
and sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, and you just pray that I hope there's a hole somewhere and
Or
there's a
hope
shanty
he
somewhere.
figured his way
out.
Yeah.
It's and these are the things we go through, and it's I don't know, it's like when somebody tells me, "Hey, Rina, I mean, don't do this to yourself." It's not about doing things to ourselves. Sometimes, I mean, if somebody's afraid of heights, they're afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Can they talk themselves out of it?
Yes.
It's very hard.
Exactly.
Right? It's very hard.
Yeah.
So we are who we are, and in many ways, I've learned to accept myself.
Yeah.
Right? And forgive myself.
Yeah. Which
But-
is hard.
Which is hard
Which is
because
so hard.
we flagellate ourselves when we feel,
Like we've not done enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
never seems like it's
Yeah.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because there's so much.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one of you, and like, that's why we're working with you, with the kapon and all of that, because we can't
We
do
can't
it.
do it ourselves. Yeah.
No, alone we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't. I mean, impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there were 10 PAWssions and 10 Biyayas,
Even
and
100.
Po-
It's just not enough.
it's just not enough for the amount
Mm-hmm.
that is already present.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we're able to arrest anything at the moment.
Exactly.
I really don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, yesterday we were so happy because Taguig is partnering with us, and their target is 3,000 kapons
Wow.
this year.
That's huge.
And just started in June,
Mm-hmm.
right? So or May, and so we're doing 500 a month.
Wow.
And we're not able to reach the target sometimes because people actually book
Yeah. Yeah.
and they don't turn up.
Exactly.
And it's so frustrating, right? But anyway, yesterday we finally, on the third go, we hit 500.
Wow.
And I was so happy, right?
And we did over 500 in Bacolod
Yes.
because of you guys.
No, and we should continue,
Yes.
because it seems from the experience we have in the beginning, people don't see the value, or they're afraid that something might happen to their pet
Yeah.
or whatever, So you start like that, and then you build up the confidence, and it's not that things don't go wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
animals
Every
are
surgery comes with a risk.
Yes, because they could react to the anesthesia.
Yes.
can
Or
act-
they have pre-existing
conditions that we don't know. We
Yes.
can't test everyone. We
Yes.
can't run CBCs on
Yes.
everyone.
And I'd like to emphasize, vets are just humans too.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. And
Yeah.
it's interesting you should say that, because that's what I'm trying to protect here.
Yeah.
The mental
Yes.
health of the vets, because
Everything they do is already physically exhausting.
physically and
They shouldn't be burdened with the mental aspect.
Yeah,
And
but
the
the-
emotional.
life is in their hands.
Exactly.
Right? Life is
Yeah.
in their hands. So many times I'm the one who
Yeah. Who
faces,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry, but you don't need to shout. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
And just to go through that.
That's a
Wa-
lot.
Wow.
At the back of your head, you're already thinking, kami na ngayon tumutulong.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we have sleepless nights
Yeah.
preparing for this. We miss meals for this. Like, we
Correct.
don't get anything out of this. We're doing this because we want to help. Tapos, but you cannot say that to them.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
And
Pero
I understand.
kaya nagsa-self-pity ka most
Yeah.
of the time. Kasi iniisip mo, gusto ko lang naman tumulong. Hindi
Yeah.
naman namin ginusto na mangyari to.
Well, that's it, right?
But that happens.
It happens, and it's normal because they're like family members for
Yeah.
some or whatever. But and sometimes it's also their guilt that they
Yeah.
didn't do enough, and they have to take it
Yeah.
out on someone else.
Yes.
And you just, so you're the receiver. You're like the central depository
Yeah.
of all of this energy.
Sige,
And
ako na lang
what do
mag-manage
you
nito.
what do you do with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, I'm in the tub 2:00 in the morning, just
Yeah.
trying to soak away. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So, Malou, okay, let's do this alliance. Why not? Even if it's
Yeah.
just you and me.
I know. I
Even
know.
if it's just us.
I know. But I know we're gonna get people.
I
to
think so.
join us.
I think
Slowly.
PETA is very strong
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
We're also the manpower for
Yes.
PETA. The other day we did 400
Wow.
in Pasig.
1 day.
One day.
Wow.
Taguig yesterday was 500.
Wow.
One day, right?
Yeah.
And that's what sometimes it's hard to get vets also, because they have a different idea. And it's tiring
Yeah.
to do
Kaya
that.
you really have to have the heart to
Yeah,
do this.
you really have to have the heart, but that's what I always tell vets when I stopped interviewing. But in the beginning, I would always say, where are you gonna get the infectious practice if not with us? Because you have a lot you're dealing with. These are not house pets.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
We get how many ortho surgeries a week?
Yeah.
Where are you going to understand? And you're going to be learning from our head surgeon, and things like that. And
Yeah.
and for me, it's like a way to, say, hey, this is the practice.
Acknowledge.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the practice you wanted to go into. This is
Yeah.
so.
This is why you took an oath.
No, yeah, and so let's put this out there. And I'm not belittling you, and I'm not propping you up. I'm just saying this is a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And to play a really big role in
To address the problem.
yes
And
be
help them.
and be part of it. And you won't maybe think about it, but you will feel it inside.
Yeah. For me, I really love mga free kapon drives because you meet a lot of like-minded people. You meet stray feeders who would file leaves from work, who would be absent from school just so they could catch their strays, bring them there, and have them neutered. Tapos yung iba minsan parang after third, fourth kapon, graduate na po kami, lahat ng strays namin nakapon na. So, you could just imagine these people, if they could also sacrifice, and then you're part of this sacrifice, like, there's just no price.
No, I'll tell you, in
Wala
Bulacan,
talaga.
in San Jose del Monte, you brought some strays there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And normally, my thing is that when I'm seeing others less na, I go out catching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go out catching, right?
Yeah.
And I was catching, and it was like a Woody Allen movie, okay? I was out catching, and then, there's a parking on the side that's dirt, right? And some woman comes, and that's like the movies, like, parks there. There's dust all over. It's 4
Kulang nga yung
o'clock.
slow-mo.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun is orangey. And she comes out of her thing. She's holding 2 carriers. And she's like, Ma'am Rina! And I'm like, hi! Hi! And she's like, and you can see from her uniform, she works.
Yeah.
She works,
Yeah,
right? And she
yeah.
goes,
She has a regular job.
regular job. And she slams her door and she goes, public school teacher ako. Iniwanan ko yung classroom ko
Yeah.
at kinuha ko tong 2 to para idala dito.
Yes.
And I was like, I was like, oh my God. It's like,
Yeah.
so I was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Also, those moments when you feel you're not alone.
Yes.
Yeah, because
You
you
know-
meet these people.
Correct.
And then we have mga TNBRs na for release sana, tapos makakahanap ng adopter.
Yes.
Kasi nakitaan habang nagre-recover. So, i-adopt na lang ng iba. So, we witness all of these beautiful moments. And honestly, if you could just record all of them,
Yes.
these are the moments that we want to show people just about how no matter how tiring this advocacy is, there are also a lot of beautiful moments.
Super a lot. But like, I have to learn how to, like, these guys, my son bought me what's that called? That thing? That GoPro. Bought me a GoPro. And
Para active. Yeah.
so, I've
Para
had it.
nare-record.
My birthday was in June. It was bought as a gift for my birthday, right? And up to now, I keep telling her, I'll bring it. Can you teach me how to use it, right? Because,
Yeah.
So if you could record, and so some of the happy moments I have on my phone that I've been able to, and that I play that back.
You look back on those moments several times kasi like you said, yun yung gas tank natin.
Yeah, exactly. No, so
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Malou, I want you to tell people your shelter. What do you need right now?
We need adopters. Honestly, we really need adopters. We have more than 600 rescues while we have some NFAs, we still have more that are for adoption. What we need really are a lot of helping hands on the ground. Like I mentioned, I'm really the only person on the ground talaga, like doing all the documentation. I'm the one ordering the supplies. I do the payroll, everything. So we need more manpower. We need more volunteers at the shelters. You know, volunteering at the shelter is more than just taking photos with the rescues. I understand you would get overwhelmed when you go to the shelter. But I hope, since andun na lang din naman kayo sa shelter, after you take photos and videos with the rescues, take time to reach out to the caretakers, ask them what you could help them with. I mean, we need a lot of help cleaning the areas. We need a lot of help, like, just socializing with a lot of rescues who are aloof. And again, we are short-staffed. So we really don't have the time na mag-one-on-one sa bawat rescue. So that's what people can help us with. Even just going to the shelter, like just sit down beside the very aloof dog and then spend time with them. Make them understand that, not a lot of people are the same, and then there are people like you who still have so much love to give. Even those little things matter to us. Kasi nga, that's why we're so grateful whenever we have visitors. Like the shelter is just open to everyone. What you see is what you get. If you see that there's something you can help us with at the shelter, then by all means, please help us because we don't have enough resources. That's why I open the shelters to everyone, because the presence of the people at the shelter really take part in the rehabilitation of the rescues. That's why we have so many happy and sociable rescues, because we have a lot of people going there and na-erase na sa kanila yung thinking na people are bad. Because everyone who goes to the shelter, they have pandesal treats or they're all excited to play with them. So, never underestimate your presence at the shelter kasi malaking bagay kayo sa rehabilitation ng rescue. PAWssion Project needs vets. We need vets. I mean, even just vet volunteers. If you have spare time, if you want to volunteer at the shelter, our caretakers need a lot of help with, just how they could do things properly. We're making extra effort right now to enroll our caretakers to online courses. But we need volunteer vets who can really help them na gawin ng tama yung trabaho nila. Because again, running a shelter is more than just feeding them or sheltering them. We need, of course, donations. Every shelter needs donations because unlimited po yung mga reports na nakukuha namin. So, and it is very rare that we could, that donations could cover the bill of one rescue. It is very rare. And the reality in rescuing and animal welfare is the donations oftentimes stop when they see na na-rescue na. Akala nila tapos na yung trabaho. What they don't know, rescuing is the easiest part. What comes after it is the hardest. Sometimes some rescues would take months na ma-rehabilitate. Hit and run rescues, minsan isang hit and run lang, abot 100K yung bill niyan. Bill pa lang niya yan. Yung rehabilitation pa niya. What they don't know is that you have to think about facilities na for them talaga. Kasi yung mga bed sores, just having to find also the right wheelchairs for them na hindi sila mahirapan. So we need more, honestly, what we need, not just PAWssion, but all the shelters in the Philippines need more people on the ground. Just go visit the shelter so you understand what we're going through, so you understand how difficult it is, but just about how fulfilling it is. We need people to put compassion into action. Sometimes we get people messaging us wanting to adopt a rescue from us, but malayo sila. Sinasabi ko, go out of your homes. Dami ng stray dyan. Ba't mo papahirapan yung sarili mo na you can start feeding a stray outside your house, gain their trust, bring them to the vet for vaccination and kapon, and then bring the rescue home. Ba't ka palalayo? If you're from Cebu, ba't mag-a-adapt ka from Bulacan shelter, diba? So, I always remind everyone na we all have the power to save lives. And if only we put compassion into action, sobrang dami sana natin natutulungan. Like, instead of just mag-up ka lang, instead of just sharing a post, kung may piso ka dyan, or 5 piso sa Gcash mo, or honestly,
send it. Absolutely.
Send it because every peso matters. What limits us, honestly, is just the lack of resources. If we have unlimited funding, unlimited resources, we'd go rescue and spay and neuter every day. But we have to think about the quality of life of our rescues. Kaya, of course, you have to understand that if we say no, ibig sabihin hindi na po enough yung resources namin. And again, kahit malaki pa yung shelter mo, kung kulang naman yung tao mo, kung wala kang maipapakain sa kanila. So, it's very complex running a shelter.
Very complex.
Yeah.
And then there's the manpower that you have to...
There's the manpower. You have to make sure you get the right people as well.
Because they have human issues.
They have human issues. We also get a lot of people sending us messages pag may nakikita silang homeless na tao na may mga animals, they want us to take them in. Sasabihin nila, added caretaker to, makakatulong to sa inyo. Pag ito naging senior, nagkasakit, kayo po gagastos. Sino magpapagamot sa kanila? They have needs as well. Hindi naman po ganun kadali lang siya.
No.
And that happened to us. So, there's no question we want to help all. No question you want to help all. But we cannot do it. I mean, the government cannot do it.
That's the
All
thing.
the more us.
Well, don't you feel sometimes you're the government?
All the time.
Diba?
All the time.
Diba?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, where do we begin?
That's why we get so frustrated. Kasi minsan naiisip mo, nagagawa nga natin na non-profit lang tayo. Why can't the government do it? So, this is another thing people can help us with. If you know people from the government, if you're brothers or friends or relatives with a politician, sit down with them.
Yeah.
And let them know that animal welfare also needs help. Parang, honestly,
Because
if I had the time,
there is a direct link with animal welfare and human welfare.
If I had the time, I would go to every mayor, sit down with them, show them a picture of their pound or how their people would catch the dogs, and tell them, this is a reflection of you. This is a reflection of your governance.
But what happens is, what I notice is, like for some barangay captains, elections is coming up. Takot din sila sa tao nila. So it's like, okay, what's the ordinance? What's the reality of the ordinance? And what's your budget? So you catch the dogs. Can you feed the dogs properly? Can you, if you're gonna euthanize properly?
Exactly.
By the law.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem is they're not even aware about the Animal Welfare Act. That's the big problem. Again, we all go back to education. And I hope the government appreciates all our efforts.
I think some do. I think some do, but some look at us as a nuisance.
Yeah.
But some do, and when they do appreciate, it's a big thing.
Big win.
And the thing is, like in our case, we never diss them. We just try to convince them.
Yes.
But like you, the door has been slammed on my
Several
face
times.
so many times, and parang we're the stupid ones pa.
Na ikaw
Parang-
yung gustong tumulong.
Yeah.
You can take all the credit. Honestly, we don't mind the
I don't
credit.
care.
Yeah.
I don't
We just
care.
want to help. We just want to help.
Correct.
And this is what we want to emphasize. Honestly, in the history of the Philippines, no government official has made like an impact on animal welfare. So that's what I always want to emphasize to them. Don't you want to leave your office na alam mong meron ka nagawa talaga na impactful and significant? Because really, if they want to address the overpopulation problem, kakayanin naman nila eh. I mean,
We
it
wouldn't
doesn't
have gotten
if
here.
they did their jobs.
Yes.
Yes.
And although we can say it's much better now,
Yes.
and we can say we are better than Vietnam and other countries when it comes to
Yes.
stray dogs,
Yes.
that's not a measure.
Yeah.
It's not a measure.
We're still far. We're
Yes.
still far from the ideal world.
And I don't like comparing.
Exactly.
Why
No
compare?
need to compare. Just
Yeah.
do things right.
Yeah, do
Just
things
do
right.
things
And it
right.
starts with one step at a time. And if you can pause, you can say, oh, okay, hindi kaya for now. But have a plan.
Yes.
And see that, you're incrementally moving up towards
or
the
if
plan.
you cannot allocate a budget for now, there are so many ways that the LGUs can help us. Like legislation-wise. That's something
Legislation-wise,
we cannot do. That's something we
exactly.
cannot do. I mean, pass kayo ng mga ordinance, please, on responsible pet ownership and make sure that they're properly implemented. Ideally, every LGU should have like a committee for animal welfare.
Correct.
O, they should have like mga police dyan na train about animal cruelty, about the Animal Welfare Act. Dapat yung mga SK, kasi they're super young pa. I'm sure so many of them have their own pets. Sana mag-allocate din sila ng budget for mga kapon or whatever. The government should understand, again, even if there are 1,000 biyayas and PAWssion projects in the Philippines, we just could not address the problem. Kasi there are some problems that should be addressed like in the legislative aspect.
Correct.
So kaya nga siya collaborative effort, and even the private sector, the businesses as well, they have to understand na when we push for responsible pet ownership, people will buy dog food, cat food, people will bring their pets to the vet, and affected din naman sila. The economy is also affected. Kaya nga siya na lahat tayo dito involved. So we really want to emphasize just about how important everyone's role is in animal welfare.
And the thing is, you don't have to do everything. Just do one thing.
Your part.
Just your
do
part. Anong kaya mo?
Yeah.
And then when you do that, you realize, ay, pwede pa. Pwede ma-expand. I can do a little bit more. Or you'll get ideas. You'll get ideas. Si ganito gata, hindi ko naisip yun
Or you really get inspired by them.
Yes. And sometimes it's the synergy. You meet someone and you're like, okay, like your friend, Manang...
Yes. Manang Jen.
Jen, right?
Yes.
Manang Jen. Then, boom, you have now a shelter.
Exactly. She the only thing she did was just offer the shelter. But look, we have PAWssion project now. If she didn't reach out to me, walang PAWssion.
Exactly. And it's that little
so
thing.
Even if it ended there, imagine din kung ano naman yung nagawa din ni PAWssion, kung sino naman yung na-inspire
Correct.
din. So, never underestimate
Yes.
whatever it is that you can bring on the table or whatever it is that you can offer. Kasi ripple effect talaga siya.
Ripple
the
effect.
kindness.
And many times, like I always say in almost all my podcasts, you and I are Moses in the Exodus. We're not gonna get to the promised land.
Yeah.
We ain't reaching that.
Yeah.
Malou, we're not
I've
getting
accepted
there.
that.
We're not getting there. And I say it almost in every podcast because parang I'm trying to, keep myself calm.
Yeah.
Because, we're not gonna get there. But can we arrest the stray cat and dog population by what we do? Kapon,
Adoption.
ARV, adoption, sheltering.
Yeah.
You can't just do it with one. You gotta work it out
It's a
together.
spectrum.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
You gotta work it out together. And listen, it's much easier if what you're doing what you love to do. You love to rescue, you love to adopt out, you take care of that.
Yes.
We'll take care of the kapon. We'll
Yes.
take care of the this or that.
Yes.
We'll take care of the capturing or whatever, right? But at least your strengths are there, and your strengths are built from natural talents,
Yeah.
God-given talents, and inclinations.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
But like us, like you said, it can't just be kapon because
Yeah.
we're faced with all these other things. So we're doing all these other things, and it's really great if we can all come
Work
together.
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah. I really wanted to share this beautiful thing that one of our volunteers, Jasmine, said. Kasi nga, oftentimes we're also overwhelmed. She said talaga na we may not be able to get to that point where we see all of the rescues adopted out, or not be able to witness all the strays spayed and neutered. But at least, when our time comes, wherever we may be after that, we could say to ourselves, we were on the right side
Yeah.
of history. We did the right thing.
Yeah. No,
So,
that
Because it's
happened
so
in a
overwhelming.
we're doing a pilot project in a barangay. For the first 2 months, we caught 300
Wow.
cats. Right? 300
Wow.
cats, and we continued month per month catching
Wow.
less and less. So now it's almost not yet a year, but soon to be a year, but we're already just catching like 3 or 4 a month.
Wow. You see, there really
I mean,
is an impact.
There really is an impact. And normally, when I plotted it out in the barangay, I have a map of the barangay, and I put need a little pins where we caught
Next. Yeah.
No, where we actually caught. And I
Okay.
realized it's all in the periphery. Now it's all in the periphery, which means that those cats are probably coming from outside coming in,
That's right.
right? So for me, it's like, it's working, right? Now, if from one small barangay, what if we make it that barangay and this barangay? And then this barangay. And you know, the thing that I really want to work on now is do what Turkey is doing, the tagging.
Yes.
Release the dogs and the
Yes.
cats back. The cats we really release. It's the
Yeah.
dogs that they don't want because of
Yes.
the law or whatever.
impounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what if we release the dogs, especially the sweeter dogs? That's the other thing that I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
Many of the pounds don't catch the difficult dogs.
Yes.
They catch the
The nice ones.
yes, right?
Kasi hindi naman nila mahuli yung mga difficult
at
ones.
takot din sila, 'di ba? So anyway, what if we release them back? Because you know, the rats, the more garbage out there, the more rats have to eat. And so you'll have more rats and you have a
More problem.
bigger problem of leptospirosis and God knows what,
Yeah.
right? The black plague, for example. And just see how it goes. And if
Yeah.
they don't reproduce, right? And
Yes.
eventually they calm down, especially when they're older.
And community animals are the best.
The best.
best.
Really, they
Yeah.
are. So this is what I'd like to propose one day. If there's a barangay that's willing to
Yes.
do it, and
Yes.
we will do it.
Yes.
We will do it for free just to
That's
test
the
it
best.
out,
That's
right?
the best.
Especially
Imagine if you have community dogs there and then you know the name of every dog in the corner. Eh di wala nang fear.
Yeah.
And then they're all healthy.
well, in Turkey that's done, no? And the
Yes.
dogs are tagged.
Yes.
And every year they
they have
receive
mga feeding
stations. Yeah, you know, so it becomes a community of compassion.
Yes.
And many times you learn compassion more from an animal
them.
than from another human because they are not capable
Yes.
of betraying you.
Yes. They're just so pure and
Yes.
so full of love. It's really just because they went through so much. Kaya you'd see the other side of them. But really, when you shower them with love, they'll give you 100 times more of that.
Correct, absolutely. Okay, Malou, this was really wonderful.
I know. And long. I tell
How
everyone,
long
I can
is this now? 1.5. 1.5.
I can talk about this for the rest
This
of my life.
Yeah. But
But we
yeah.
have other things to do.
We have other things to do, but normally that's how really things should go. It's a discussion and it can't be made into short form. We can do the shorts later on to entice
Yeah.
people to watch the whole thing, but
Yeah.
you know. So I just have to say thank you to Cafe 2.0 and Ayala Malls.
Yes.
Because they've now accepted our low-cost capon in some malls.
Wow.
And we'll have adoptions side by side.
Wow.
And we're going out to the further off malls.
May this inspire more establishments
And
to
to do
the
this.
same. Kasi, honestly, sobrang daming mga employees who really have the heart for the animals, but they're just scared kasi baka pagalitan sila or mawalan sila ng trabaho. But really, if you welcome this idea in your properties, you not just na you will be blessed, but you will really see the difference.
But it's the leadership.
Yes.
You and I know that.
Yes.
And we know who they are.
Yes.
And we're grateful to them. You know who you are.
Grateful.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we really can't do it on our own. Okay, so Malou is looking for land in
Bulacan.
Bulacan. Ideally in Bulacan. Any events for PAWssion from September to December you want to announce?
Okay, what month are we in?
We're close to August.
Okay, so it's close to August. I just reached out to Miss Harleen kasi PAWssion has always observed International Homeless Animals Day. So this year, International Homeless Animals Day is August 19. I reached out to Miss Harleen. We're gonna do spay and neuter in
Where?
partnership with you guys in an Ayala Mall.
Oh, great!
In Ayala Mall. So we're gonna do a spay and neuter event that weekend of the International Homeless Animals Day. Again, the best way we could help the animal strays really is to stop them from overpopulating.
Yes.
And protect them from the rabies virus. So we're gonna do spay and neuter, adoption drives. Of course, we do everything that we can, no matter how tiring it is, and having to travel the animals. We do everything we can to bring them closer to you, so it's easier to adopt or rescue from us. This coming September is rabies
Yes, month.
So we're still figuring things out, but of course we're really gonna do a lot of efforts as well to help the strays. And then October, PAWssion is turning 5 years.
Yay!
I know, it's
Congratulations.
such a milestone. It's
Yeah.
such a milestone, really. So, of course, we are looking into coming up with a lot of fundraising activities because, like I mentioned, the only thing that stops us from doing more is really
Resources.
the lack of resources and funds. So we're gonna work on a lot of fundraising activities. Kapon as well. Hopefully, Biyaya still has some slots for us.
Always.
We're gonna do spay and neuter, of course, during our 5th anniversary. That's our way also of doing what we can. Kasi honestly, just sheltering animals is already a lot of work. Pero yun nga, we always emphasize na hindi naman yun yung solusyon. So even if we have limited resources, we do what we can also to offer free kapon. And November is my birth month. So ever since I started PAWssion, I always offer free kapon during my birthday. And we do adoption drives as well. And then December, of course, hopefully we would be able to mount a lot of adoption drives kasi our goal really is to bring more rescues home before Christmas. Mid-year pa lang, our goal every year actually is 100 na maari home. But mid-year pa lang this year, we're more than 50%. So we're
Fantastic!
so happy. We're so happy.
Congratulations.
And this really are amazing adopters. Amazing adopters. We're very cautious kasi about rehoming our rescues. Kasi kung hindi naman best life, dito na lang sa shelter, igagapang ko to sila. Basta best life lang sila. So, we are working on a lot of things. And we really need more people to help. Of course, not just PAWssion. If you can volunteer for Biyaya, if you can volunteer for other animal welfare groups, the nearest pound if you can go check the pound nearest you, kasi it will change your life, honestly. I always invite everyone, go check the pound because it will really change your life. Parang it will spark that compassion in you. And you will also carry that guilt with you if you don't act on it. But I tell you, it's so life-changing. Kahit nga mag-rescue ka lang or mag-save ka lang ng isa, that's already something for them. So, yeah, we really hope that we would be able to collaborate with as many people, as many groups as possible, as many LGUs as possible. We hope more private people, companies, private sector can include animal welfare in their plans. I am very happy. Kahit papano, animal welfare is being heard. More malls are opening their doors to animals. Dati, bawal na bawal nga yung mga animals. Ngayon, we would witness adoption drives inside malls. The fact that there are a lot of clinics opening everywhere, meaning to say, madami ng tao nagpapavet ng mga animals and rescues nila. So, I feel it in my heart na may impact yung ginagawa natin. Kailangan natin sabihin yun kasi nakakapagod siya. So, even those little things na ma-affirm yung mga efforts natin, it really goes a long way. So, the work is never gonna be done, honestly, with the number of animals that we have to think of. But again, every effort matters. Every peso matters. Every minute that you spend time with an animal in need matters. Put compassion into action. That's always what I tell everyone. And that we can always do something. No matter what it is talaga, you can do something and go visit shelters. Kasi no one else can speak better for them than them.
Yes.
Kahit ano pa yung pinagsasabi ko dito, kahit anong videos i-post ko, yung connection mo with an animal when you come see them at the shelter, iba yun eh. When they go to you, when they make you feel loved, when they make you feel na you're the human that they've been looking for, wala sa mga sinabi ko yung makakapagpa-realize sa'yo
Wala.
niyan. So, even if they're voiceless, they have the most powerful voice, honestly.
They know how to communicate.
If you just look closer, if you just spend time with them, you will understand why we're going crazy over them. You will understand
Correct.
why we do what we do. Some people may find us crazy already na parang, ano ba
That's
ginagawa
okay.
mo?
Yeah, okay.
But we don't mind. We don't mind. Like, I value the relationships I have now with the people I come across with because I already know my mission in life. I already know my purpose. Parang, before I felt like I spent so many useless na mga times and days with people who don't really add value to my life. But now that I'm with animal welfare, I'm just glad every time I come across people who also share the same advocacy with me. Kasi parang mas quality yung relationships.
Yes.
The conversations are quality. You don't talk about people anymore. You don't talk about like the small stuff, but you talk about how you're gonna be able to make a change. And I think that's beautiful.
It is.
So I hope and pray na people will find their purpose in life also, maybe with animal welfare or anything else. I hope people will realize how much kindness can change the world. I hope people will give a chance to the animals kasi they will really change your life. More than
Absolutely.
we changed theirs.
Correct.
They've changed my life in so many ways na hindi ko talaga ma-put into words kung bakit ko siya ginagawa.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Malou.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much for having me. And let's stay strong.
Yes, always strong, ha?
Yes.
Okay, take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, guys. Ingat. Hello, mga kabiyaya. We are here to discuss anything under veterinary services, rescues, adoptions, TNVR, animal welfare, responsible pet ownerships. Anything and everything as well in between. Kung nais po ninyong magiging isang biyaya sa aming mga alagang aso't pusa, please comment below or message our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. Maraming salamat.